Hey everyone, welcome back to the Lord and Arts channel. It's me, John, and we are here with the brand new show, Brain Scratch, Case Cracked. And I have to thank you to everyone that participated in the episode of Johnny Vlogs to help me find this name. You guys came up with a bunch of great suggestions. I really had some trouble deciding, but luckily, thanks to all of your feedback, I was able to kind of count up your votes, and Case Cracked also really struck me. It was close to what I was thinking, but the word cracked really just brought a little more dramatic flair to it. So I appreciate your guys' help with that. I'm always so impressed when I ask you for help on that. You guys just really show up in spades. Not to mention, I know last week if you checked out my extra edition of Johnny Vlogs, I was asking for you guys to retweet for me, and you guys did an amazing job retweeting. I got a couple of likes from some of those big YouTubers that I really enjoy. That's always a personal thrill for me. Plus, I'm hoping that we're filling up the CEO of YouTube's Twitter account with that message several times, and maybe she'll take notice. Maybe she can help some type of policy change about removing monetization from missing persons profiles, because I personally believe that YouTube is a force for good, and I think that they should help rectify that. But anyway, let's get to the case we're talking about today. This is the case of Dorothy Donovan. This is a woman that was 70 years old, June 22nd, 1991, and unfortunately met her demise. Sometime around midnight, someone broke into her house. She had a door that had some panes of glass in the door. Someone broke that, apparently with a screwdriver, came into the house. She must have saw them, and apparently they stabbed her multiple times. A truly, truly tragic end. Now, this case takes a few weird twists when we find out the logistics a little bit. First of all, she's living in what is known as kind of a farmhouse on a pretty good size lot, and there is a trailer that is also on this same lot, and her son lives in the trailer. Now, at midnight on this day, June 22nd, 1991, her son is a factory worker. He gets off from a shift. He apparently goes to a fast food joint and picks up some food. And while he's leaving the place, someone asks him for a ride. That is according to him. And this gentleman gets in the vehicle with him, and he says, well, I can't take you all the way that you want to go, but I am headed in that direction. So he takes him a bit in that direction, gets to a stoplight that is a few blocks from his house. And of course, he doesn't want this guy, he doesn't know this guy, so he doesn't want this guy to know where he lives. And he asks the guy to get out. The guy says, no, you're going to take me. And apparently they get in a fight in the vehicle. The fight goes outside of the vehicle. The man grabs a screwdriver, hint, hint, from inside of the cab of the truck and attacks her son. Her son's name is Charles Holden. Her son agrees to take the guy. He says, okay, let's just get back in the truck. I'll take you wherever you want to go. And as they're heading back to the truck, Charles gets in the truck first, locks the door, and takes off. Now, he doesn't drive directly home because he's afraid the man is seeing where he's going. So he winds up driving around the neighborhood for a little bit first. This is all according to his testimony. He says when he gets home, he sees the same man sneaking around their house, and this concerns him. He drives and finds a police officer, returns with a police officer, and unfortunately they go into his mother's house. They could see that it was broken into, and they find her stabbed multiple times. Now, his interrogation goes a bit interestingly. The police really don't buy this whole story. They don't understand why he would not go directly home after dropping this guy off. The guy had a half mile to walk, so obviously the truck should have been there far ahead of the guy. There's just a lot in this story that the police are questioning, and also the way that she was killed. You know, there's this kind of typical notion that if someone is stabbed a lot, that it's usually a crime of passion. It usually is someone that's related to the person. And I know I've certainly leaned on that preconceived notion before myself. And it does appear that this might be one of those types of crimes. The son sticks to his guns, Charles Holden, going as far as the police want to give him a polygraph, and he denies the request. He will not take a polygraph examination here. So the case seems to go cold. Police really don't have any hard evidence. They do find two things in her house. One of them is a bloody palm print that is on the grip for the stairs, on the banister of the stairs, and they also find some blood that is on a light switch. But remember, this is 1991. Yeah, I think they had DNA technology around here, but it wasn't quite as active as it is now. So case goes cold, and we fast forward numerous years. We go from 1991 to 2004. And here's where we pick up a story where there is a man named Gilbert Cannon. He is serving time in Maryland for a murder. As part of them now building up their database of DNA, he is forced to submit some DNA to the CODIS system. They do that, and the blood sample from the light switch in Dorothy's house has the DNA extracted. They get a good sample from that. That gets put into the CODIS system, and all of a sudden a match is generated, and they now know that the man that actually killed Dorothy Donovan is Gilbert Cannon. He is released by the time that they figure this out. They do find out where he is. He's apparently living with a girlfriend. They pick him up. They bring him to an interview room. They ask him about that night, and he first denies having any involvement there. Then they're pretty straight up with him. They're like, look, we know, we have your DNA in the place, so we know that you were certainly there. They also test or do an analysis of his palm print, and it matches the palm print that is from the stairs, the banister on the stairs. So they are more than certain that this is their guy. He also matches a drawing that is a composite sketch that is made from details that Charles Holden had given them. They find pictures of Gilbert Cannon from back in the early 90s, and he's a very close match to the composite sketch. So all of a sudden, it does indeed seem that Charles Holden is telling the truth. There is some questions still floating about, is Charles, does he know Gilbert? Did Gilbert do this for Charles? Did he pay him or something along those lines? Luckily, we have pretty firm answers to all of that, because after Gilbert is confronted with this evidence and realizing that he's not going to get out of this crime, he pretty much starts confessing and starts recalling what actually happened that night. He admits that he is on a bit of a cocaine bender. He runs out and he is focused on getting to another town where he knows he can score some more, and that's why he needs this ride. He is in a very bad way in terms of his addiction. When Charles decides he's not going to drive him there all the way, that's when the attack happens. He does concur that Charles left him at that intersection, but then says he had nothing to do but to walk in that direction. I mean, he's in this area, he doesn't know where else to go, so he decides to walk in the direction that the truck drives off in. He then starts looking for houses because I think he figures he's not going to be able to get his fix, and he's trying to find some place to sleep. And the first house that he happens upon, which doesn't have its lights on, it's the first house that has no lights, unfortunately happens to be Dorothy's house. So half a mile away, it is a pure coincidence that Gilbert Cannon winds up in Dorothy's house. Once he's in there, he realizes he's not alone. She sees him from the stairs, and he knows that he has to do something because he's now been witnessed breaking into this person's house, and he decides to end her life. So what happened to Gilbert Cannon? Well, since he basically confessed, he wound up pleading guilty. In doing that, he likely avoided the death penalty. However, he got the next stiffest sentence, which is life in prison with no possibility of being released ever. Crazy, crazy story. There was a few television appearances of this story. I've found one of them that is still available on YouTube, so I will include that link in the description box below, as well as an article about this case. There are a few news stories, so I'll put those links down there as well. But outside of that, there's not a whole lot of information. This story is kind of from that period right before the internet really boomed and all this information started getting cataloged as heavily as it is nowadays. But certainly a very interesting case, particularly because you're really not sure if you can believe Charles Holden's story, especially with that amazing coincidence that this guy happens to go to the property and kill this guy's mother after they've gotten in an altercation in the vehicle. I mean, it's just, I don't know what the odds of that are. It seems so unlikely, but it did indeed happen that way. However, thank you to the evidence DNA collected from the blood sample on the switch, and of course the palm print. That is what brought this case to being cracked. So that's it for our first episode of Case Cracked. I hope you guys enjoy the format. This format is new to me. I'm looking for cases. So first of all, if you have suggestions, please leave those in the comment box below. It's honestly not as easy as I thought it would be to find cases that have some kind of mysterious element in them that are also cracked. So I'm really looking for suggestions. Of course, I'll start a new sheet in my Excel tracker and start tracking all of your suggestions. But I really need some help on this, guys. Outside of that, if you have suggestions about the show format, please let me know. I know this one's a little bit different. This is a little bit of a lighter, shorter show format. I have to see if I can beef it up a little bit as I go, but right now I'm just trying to make it something manageable, something that I enjoy doing, something that's easy, that I can get out on Monday mornings for you guys, but still something that might get you scratching that brain a little bit or talking about this to other people. I hope you have a great Monday. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you on the next show on the Lord and Arts channel. Take care.